Hi everyone, welcome to Ms. Sawagid's math class. Last lesson, we talked about linear functions or linear equations written in slope-intercept form, y equal mx plus b, where m is the slope or the rate of change and b is the y-intercept or the initial value. For today's lesson, we will talk about linear equations written in standard form. ax plus by equals c, where a is the rate of change for x, b is the rate for y, and c is the total. And that's the clue to know if you need to write the equation in standard form or slope-intercept form. If you see a total, remember that it is in standard form. Now, as long as a and b cannot both be 0. So we can't have a as 0 or b as 0. Why is that? Let's see. If I substitute a was 0 and b was 0, so 0x plus 0y equals c. Any number multiplied by 0 equals 0. It's gone. So 0 times x is 0, 0 times y is 0 equals c. Is that always a true statement? No. This statement is only true if c equals 0. So 0 can equal 0. Otherwise, it is not true. And that c equals 0 is not a line. What if now only a equals 0? Here's the standard form equation. Substitute a with 0. What's left? 0 times x is 0, so it's gone. What's left is by equals c. Now isolate y by itself. By dividing both sides by b, you end up with y equals c. Divided by b is a constant, so let's name that constant b so we can all be on the same page so we don't change the y-intercept, which is b. Here's a graph. If you graph that line, y equals b, you will get a horizontal line crossing the y-axis at the b value. Does this horizontal line represent a linear function? Yes, because every input has exactly one output, and if I draw a vertical line on any point on that y equals b, will not pass more than points, so yes, it is a function. Now what if b, only b equals 0? Here's the equation, substitute b with 0. 0 times y is 0, so you end up with ax equals c. Isolate x by dividing both sides by a, you end up with x equal a. We named it a because c divided by a gives you a constant, so we can all be on the same page, so let x equal a. Now if we graph it, watch how you will end up with the vertical line crosses the x-axis at point a, 0, and that's called the x-intercept. Does the vertical line represent a linear function? Absolutely not, because if you draw a vertical line, it will cross every single point. It will be a vertical line. That means the input A has multiple outputs. Now let's see how can we graph those two equations. The first one is y equals 4. Since it's a y equal, then you will end up with a horizontal line crossing the y at 0, 4. So look at the y-axis, find number 4, put a dot there. And now draw a horizontal line crossing the y at 4. Is that a function? Yes, it's a linear function. Watch how every input, which is -2, 0, and 3, has one output, which is 4. Now, x equal -2, you will end up with a vertical line crossing the x-axis at -2, 0. So draw a vertical line. Look at the x-axis. Find -2 and put a dot there. Now draw a vertical line crossing the x at -2. Is that a function? No, because watch how -2 has many different output. -2 has 3, -2 has 0, -2 has -2, and even more than that if you look at the line. Now what if there is a line that crosses the x-axis and the y-axis, just like this one? Watch how it crosses the y-axis at 0b, where x is 0 and b is the y. That's called the y-intercept. So for the line to cross the y-intercept, x has to be 0. Now look at the x-axis. And for the x-axis, it's a 0. Cross cross the x-axis at A0. If that's x and y, that's a coordinate of x and y, A is the x and y has to be 0 for it to cross the x-axis. So this is called the x-intercept. To cross the x-axis, y in this time has to be 0. How can you use the intercepts to graph an equation? Here's an equation and here's the graph. 3x plus 4y equals 12. So first of all, find the x-intercept, then find the y-intercept, and draw a line. How do we do that? Substitute y with 0 to find a0 because that is the x-intercept. 3x plus 4y equals 12. Substitute y with 0. You end up with 3x plus 4 times 0 is 0 equals 12. Since 4 times 0 is 0, you end up with 3x equal 12. Now isolate x. By dividing both sides with 3, you end up with x equal 4. Go look at the graph on the x-axis, find 4, and draw a dot. Now the y-intercept. For the y-intercept, substitute x with 0 to find 0b because x has to be 0 for it to cross the y-axis. So write the equation 3x plus 4y equals 12. Substitute 0, 3 times 0 is 0. You end up with 4y equals 12. Isolate y. By dividing both sides by 4, you end up with y equals 3. So now go on the y-axis, find 3, put a dot on the 3 on the y. Draw a line to connect them, so the green line will connect both dots, and that is the graph using the intercept, the x-intercept, and the y-intercept. Here's a word problem for this lesson, and it would be the last problem we saw for today. You are planning a word banquet for your school. You need to rent tables to seat 180 people. There are 2 table sizes available. Small table seats 6 people, and large tables seat 10 people. The equation 6x plus 10y equals 180 models this situation, where x is the number of small tables and y is the number of large tables. Look for your clues. Clue number 1, is there a total? Yes, there is, 180 people. Then I know it's a standard form equation, and I'm doing that to remind you, even though they already gave you the equation. Clue number 2, is there a rate of change? Yes, there's 2 rate of change. There's a small table and a large table. The small table, 6 people each small table, and 10 people each large table. The word each is a rate. It's a clue that this is a rate of change. Now, the question is to graph the equation, interpret the intercepts. Here's the graph where x represents the number of small tables and the y represents the number of large tables. Since they already gave you the equation, we don't need to write it. But to graph it, we need the 2 intercepts. And I will show you a much easier way to do that instead of substituting with 0. So to find the y-intercept and the x-intercept. To find the y-intercept, write the equation. X has to be 0. So to find the y-intercept, x has to be 0. Instead of substituting 0 for x, just cover it. Cover x to find y. You end up with 10y equals 180. Divide both sides by 10, then y equals 18. Go on the y-axis, find number 18, put a dot there. And that's the y-intercept. Now to find the x-intercept, write the equation. But this time, since y has to be 0, cover the y to find the x. So just cover the y, you end up with 6x equal 180. Divide both sides by 6, you end up with x equal 30. So go on the x-axis and plot the point at number 30. And that's the x-intercept. Draw a line through it, and that would be the graph. Now, interpret means explain. To interpret the y-intercept, it means that you need 18 large tables to seat the 180 people and 0 small tables. The x-intercept, that means you need 30 small tables to seat 180 people, and 0 large tables, because that will fit the 180 people. Now, what if you need a combination of small and large tables? Then you use any dot on that line. So I will put one dot, the red one, at 10, 12, which means that's a combination of small and large tables. You need 10 small tables and 12 large tables to seat 180 people. That's a combination of both. You can come up with any of them. Is that a discrete or continuous domain? Can I have half a table? No. So those are discrete domains because you have to use a full table. You can't use half. That's just a reminder from last lesson. That's it for today's lesson. You guys have a great day.